Okay, so we are back with another edition of the Random Show. This one very different from the other ones because we have another guest. This one's slightly older, but still a relative. And here we go.
Okay, so I'd like to talk to everybody in the audience. I'd like to introduce myself as Totally Freaking Awesome Gramps! I'm gonna tell a story to my grandson. Little Awesome Gramps. Okay, Sonny. I'm gonna tell you a story about this old fisherman guy. His name was Joe. And so I bet you're wondering why, a Chinese, fisherman guy is named Joe. Well, the answer is he had an English cousin. Don't ask me how that's possible, but he did. Well, anyways, Joe, he was fishing along. And he's like, I'm not making any money, fishing. I'm fishing and working my butt off, and I'm not getting any money. And so, he had this old cat, and it was just, going around, and just, eating whatever. And he's like, you know what? I'm getting really hungry, and I'm tired of fish. And so he made, wait for it, ground cat. And he went and, put it in, a tube, and made it look like what we call today, a hot dog. And so he went put it in that, and he put it, next to a bun that he just bought that day. And he took a bite of it, and he's like, this is amazing! I should tell the world about my piece of food. And so, he took it to his neighbor after he cut it in half. And he took the half that he didn't bite off of, because he didn't want to spread germs. And he took it to his neighbor. And he's like, I'll sell you this for 3,000 yen. And the neighbor's like, well, why should I buy that? I mean, I don't think it even looks tasty. And so, he went over to his house, got a little bit of the part that he bit off of, brought it over to his neighbor, and the neighbor just loved it. So he bought that piece of bread with the ground cat on it, and he bought that for 3,000 yen. And 3,000 yen may not sound like much to somebody who's got a lot of yen, but it was a lot to that old fisherman named Joe. And so, with that money that he got, he started buying all the cats because he finally figured out how to get money. And so, he was making all these hot cats, because that's what he called them. Because he would warm them up and put them on the buns and stuff. And he would go and sell them to all the Chinese people, and he was becoming very wealthy. And his English cousin, the one he was named after, Joe, make sure you're not confused with him, I'll call him Joe number 2, okay? So Joe number 2 came over to Joe, and he's like, so, I heard you're making a lot of money. And Joe's like, yeah, I am. And so Joe number 2, he wanted to know how he was doing it. And so Joe, he went and got one of the hot cats and went and gave it to Joe number 2. And Joe number 2 just loved it. I mean, he was like, ugh, and it was really nice. Well, anyways, Joe number 2, he went back to England with this great idea. And he's like, I am going to start making hot cats. But over in England, it wasn't the same as China. They weren't in China, they were like, oh, cats are awesome. But in England, the cats weren't that cool. Dogs were better. So, he decided to come hot dogs. And that is how we got our hot dogs today that we eat regularly. And so, come back next time, man, and I'll tell you how rats became famous. Okay. There you go, Sonny. Go tell your friends. And this has been another edition of The Random Show. And Random Stories by Totally Wicked Awesome Gramps! Woo!